Good morning, everybody, and welcome to 647, 6 stories for 7 a.m. This is your quick news fix, and the truth starts now. So Trump is going OG Arab style. Qatar is gifting the OG a Boeing 747-8 jumbo jet. This gift is coming from Qatar's royal family, worth $400 million. This jet is called the Flying Palace, and it looks like a flying palace. These guys, they got Trump's number. This thing's all gold inside. It is absolutely, seriously fancy and super blinged out. And Trump, he's having it tricked out for the president, all the countermeasures and security stuff. And so he's going to be riding in style because, frankly, we're looking a little raggedy. Our presidential planes are from 1990, and Trump made a deal with Boeing back in 2018, and they can't get him the new fleet, not even the first plane, till 2029. So Trump's going around these people. Boeing, you're making a mistake. All right, that's story one. Here's story two. You cannot find good help anymore. Woke West Point professor resigns after 13 years in a tenured teaching position. And then he goes right to the New York Times for an op-ed. Professor Graham Parson, I am ashamed to be associated with the academy in its current form. Well, you got to give it to Graham. He stands by his guns. He can't take it. He can't take the change, and he's getting out. So I think all woke professors should consider this highly ethical move because America is abandoning wokeness. And Pete Hegseth said, Parsons will not be missed. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out, Graham. All right, and now this problem with labor, it's happening even overseas. It happened in Sweden. Thursday, they announced that they were appointing their next national security advisor, Tobias Thyberg. He got his new position on Thursday. 12 hours later, he was asked to step down. Talk about great vetting. What could make that happen? 12 hours in that super important position, and he has to step down. Well, it turns out there were nude selfies of Graham found on the LGBTQ app Grindr. Good job, vetting group. We have the same problem over here. Look, you remember that we lost our national security advisor. We were told he was fired. Then no one's getting fired. He got something worse than being fired. He's now the ambassador to the United Nations. And why did that happen? Well, we were told that he was responsible for letting the clown from the Atlantic on the Signal chat where Pete Hegseth was basically organizing and overseeing the attack on the Houthi missile kernel. But there was more to it than that. Turns out that our national security advisor was meeting with Netanyahu on the sly about going to war with Iran, which Trump wants no part of whatsoever, but he shouldn't have put a war hawk in that position if that's the case. All right, so it's a labor problem, but it's a management problem too, and it's apparently ubiquitous. All right, story number three. These are DC Quickies. Trump to announce a trade deal with China today, and to kick it off, 90-day pause on tariffs both ways. Why would they do that? I can tell you why. Because the OG went to the body on China and wailed on them with a 145% tariff for 90 days, and they can't keep their arms up anymore. So to make the deal happen and to help things here at home, China's going to get a cash influx so that they can get they're basically doing the Christmas shipping already, and they have thousands of factories that have closed because of the 145% tariff, and they have riots in their streets. You can't see any of it because they seal the news just like our country does. So this allows them to get back on track and not be in emergency mode, and it allows us to get our truckers going again because there's lots of ships full of stuff just sitting outside the ports. So all good all the way around. That's the first one. Let's see. DC Quickie number 2. DJT again, coming in hot. Trump's going to sign an XO cutting prescription drugs by 30%. Remember, this was the bill that the rhinos tanked last week, and so he's just dunking on them. It's an XO, and not just a 30% cut, but some drugs will be an 80% cut. So that'll be a big relief for over 60% of Americans. So Big Pharma, General Quarters alarm. Incoming, baby. Get ready. There's going to be a war. Okay, now, confirmed Sunday night by Trump, Hamas said to release the last living American hostage from the October 7th attack. That was October 7, 2023. This guy, Eden Alexander, is from New Jersey, and he was serving in the Israeli military. And I've seen some things that he may already be home or he's flying home, but he's definitely coming home. And just a note, there are still 59 live hostages. And because of these animals, you have to distinguish live from the dead bodies that they've killed. And they want to negotiate with those too. So it's just awful. What can you do? Next story, DC Quickies. This is update. India and Pakistan, the truce. Vance was over there, and they signed a truce on Saturday, and then there was crazy fighting on Saturday, but it eventually stopped on Sunday morning. So they're hoping that this truce is going to hold. And big story from Saturday, Dan Bongino, the deputy under Kash Patel at the FBI, broke his silence. Right? He says, I'm tired of hearing everybody bashing Kash and saying we're backed up and we can't do the job. And he goes, my office is connected to Kash's. I can see him from my office. And we're going back and forth all day. And we work 12 hours a day together, back and forth, working on so many things. And I'm going to lay them out for you. But 12 hours a day plus meetings out of the office. That's the workday. Shut up about how we're not getting things done. So this is what he says is the priority. Crimes against children are the priority. There's 300,000 missing children. Thank you, Joe Biden. And the Epstein case has literally thousands of hours of tape of child sexual abuse by adults. Okay, so all of these parties need to be identified and contacted, and a victim statement needs to be taken, and you have to protect these children in the process, and the press just can't wait to get a hold of anything, so they have to control the leaks and everything else. Then there's this huge illegal immigrant removal and incarceration op. Okay, that's gigantic, and they are getting ready to do some massive work, despite the fact that all these leftist blue state judges are blocking them with hundreds of lawsuits. Then there are the cover-ups from the Biden administration. The baseball attack on the Republican baseball game where Scalise got shot. That was all covered up. You couldn't get any information. Crossfire Hurricane, the soft coup on Trump's first presidency, the Russiagate coup. All of that's been covered up, and that needs to be uncovered. J6, the Nashville attack, and on the Christian school by the trans shooter, that was all covered up. And the COVID cover-up. So all these things were covered up, and they're all going to be uncovered, and they are massive. All of them are massive because there was a Democrat agenda going on, and it was basically to keep us from knowing the truth. Story number 4. Remember this name, Gail Slater. Gail Slater. Gail Slater is a stone cold killer, and she is the Assistant Attorney General for Antitrust. That sounds dry. Let me tell you what she's doing. She is going after Google, Facebook, Instagram to stop internet censorship. And I'm thinking, internet censorship? Well, we got the OG in the office now. That must be stopped. That can't still be going on. So I thought, you know what? Last night, I'm going to Google 3 simple questions and just see what happens. You know, Google's the way to go, right? So first question I asked was, is Trump the greatest president? Now, when you Google anything, the first thing you see at the top of the page is AI helping you out, giving you the right overview on this question and steering you in the right direction. So is Trump the greatest president? AI overview not available. Wow. Then I went through all the articles on the first page, and 12 of them said he's not only not the greatest, he may be the worst. And there was one article that was half smackdown and half he's done a couple good things. So bias and censorship to the max. Well, let's try again with something else. Is the COVID-19 vaccine safe? Well, AI had no opinion on this question. That's odd, but there were heavy hitters filling the page. So you should know that there was not one article that even questioned whether the vax was safe. But there were 9 articles, lengthy, and they're from heavy hitters. The CDC says absolutely safe. Johns Hopkins University, absolutely safe. The FDA, right? A government agency, it's absolutely safe. The Mayo Clinic, definitely safe. The American Hospital Association, absolutely safe. Memorial Sloan Kettering, they love the thing. It's causing turbo cancer. Their business is way up. Yale Medicine, same thing. And the National Institute of Health. This stuff is great for you. And every one of us know young people dropping dead, athletes dropping dead, people in their 30s and 40s, either dropping dead or disabled or with turbo cancer. I hear it every week when I go to church. They say, there's somebody who dropped dead. This time was a mother in her 30s in fine health with 2 young kids, just gone, hit the floor and gone, okay? That's how safe COVID is. All right, so we are definitely being censored and kept stupid, all right? Here's the third question. Is gender-affirming care safe for minors? Easy question, right? You all know what your opinion is on this. And just to hedge it, I think you should know 2 facts. The first one is that 23 states in our country have outlawed gender-affirming care. Why? Because in the trans community, over 80% of those folks have considered suicide, what they call suicidal ideation. And 43% of them have attempted suicide, okay? That's not a knock on the trans people. It is that this whole thing, they are being exploited in their gender dysphoria. And once they make the change, things don't get happier. But let's just see what Google has to say about that. The first thing is that AI says it's absolutely safe, but you do need supervision, okay? So AI made a qualifier. There were no articles that said it's not safe. And again, the heavy hitters show up to say it's absolutely safe. Here they go. The National Association of Social Workers, Scientific Americans, the Human Rights Campaign, the Association of American Medical Colleges, HHS, right? One of our largest government agencies is still promoting this big time. Reddit, right? Articles from people and people talking about this, 100% pro, all right? The American Psychological Association, definitely safe. Harvard School of Public Health, fantastic. ABC News, same thing. The American College of Pediatricians, absolutely safe. You cannot make this up. All right, that was story 4. Now we're headed to story 5, and it's almost a follow-up on 4. Colorado State Legislature is voting this week on the Kelly Loving Act. Doesn't that sound nice? The Kelly Loving Act. So here's the boil down. If parents don't affirm a child's desire to change gender, and those parents misgender them, that means if Bobby thinks he's a Susie and you refer to him as Bobby, or you call him a he, or treat him like a boy, that's misgendering. So that's one count. Second count is if you dead name him. If Bobby says, I want to be Susie, and you call him Bobby, even if it's by mistake, a judge may determine that's abuse and deny the parents custody of their child. Okay? So it starts with Google with this 100% biased and untrue information to the American public because we're stupid and we can't find things. Honestly, I'm not stupid. It's very hard to find the truth these days, and it shouldn't be that way in the United States. And it's absolutely awful that this is allowed to continue, and I hope they give Gail, doggone it, I said don't forget her name, Gail Slater, some steroids so that she can go after these people. And this has to stop. It just absolutely has to stop. So the Kelly Loving Act in Blue, Colorado, don't you love it? How these Dems, they go to the prettiest places and destroy them. So they're doing that to Colorado. And another blue state, Massachusetts, last week, 2 parents grabbed their 2 kids and went on the run because one of them has this gender situation that the school is chasing, and the state got involved, the governor got involved. These people left the state, and Massachusetts is chasing them outside the state for custody of those children. This is some seriously, seriously wrong stuff, and we need to get loud and mouthy about it. All right, story number 5. I think I did story number 5. That was the Colorado State. Yeah. All right, so we're up to 6. The final story. There's actually 2 of them. They're funny. Hawaii is suing the oil industry. Kind of a large group, right? Lots of money potential. Why are they suing them? They're suing them for climate change. But get this. There's a huge refinery in Hawaii, but that refinery pays Democrats. So they're not part of the lawsuit, right? You see how this works? No shame is the name of the game. And then finally, this is a little pickup on the Pope. They got the wrong bro. They got the wrong pro in the Prevost family. There's an older brother named Louis, and Louis has been on Facebook with a drink in his hand, ranting that Nancy Pelosi is a drunk C. A drunk C. Well, that C word, that rhymes with bunt. She's a drunk bunt. You fill it in. But the important thing is that we need Pope Louis telling it like it is instead of all these obfuscating popes. That's it. Thank you very much. Please like us. Please share us. Please give us some feedback and have a great day at work. And God bless you.